Something lots of people want to know is how can I get reimbursed? Linda Esmeralda sent us this email asking what number can we call for lost wages caused directly because of the situation at ITC. It's not just lost wages people are worried about, but medical bills from doctor visits. The most important thing people should know is there is no set limit. ITC will look into each claim individually, but actually filling out that claim can be its own process. ITC says you need to go to their website because there is no phone number. That's itcclaims.com. It is best from a desktop, we found out. Select the claim you would like to file, either individual or business, and print it out and fill it out. Then you can either scan it and email it in or mail it in yourself. Remember, you have to have the documents that prove your loss. We will also have that website on our website, khu.com. The deadline to file is June 25th. Guys, back to you.